Hi there. Welcome to this quick walkthrough of the Step Ahead Sheets project management spreadsheet, a simple yet powerful Excel tool designed to help you stay organized across multiple projects, work streams, or departments. Whether you're a project manager, team lead, or just trying to juggle a lot of moving pieces, this spreadsheet has your back. Now, if you stumbled across this video and haven't got the file yet, stick around. Once you see how easy and flexible the tool is, I think you'll be excited to grab your own copy and start using it right away. On the very first tab, you'll see the instructions. This gives you a quick overview of how the spreadsheet works and what each tab is for. You don't need to memorize anything. I'll walk you through the entire tool in this video, but this tab is always there to reference if you need a refresher down the road. This is the Task List tab, and it's the heart of the whole system. Here's where you'll log everything: work streams, tasks, subtasks, due dates, owners, and status. You'll see that most of the cells that require input are shaded gray, like I've got here in this workstream one. The dashboard and Gantt chart will have up to 6 colors to identify projects, work streams, or departments. Choose the naming convention you'd like to differentiate between colors here. I'm going to use work streams, then simply name each section as you wish. You've got up to 6 to utilize, and so I'll name this one Leasing and Permits. The other 5 are pre-populated. And now all that's left is dropping in tasks, subtasks, and deadlines as you go. You can either use a staggered method, which is like what you're seeing me populate in Workstream 1. Your main task is followed by all the relevant subtasks that relate to it directly below. Or you can do a more detailed method, as shown here in Workstream 2. You can drop in tasks and just assign each one to a main task. They don't all have to be grouped together like this. Just assign any subtask with the same naming convention for the main task, and the dashboard and Gantt will group them together. Rank priority to tasks. 1 is high, 2 is medium, and 3 is low. Your start date and end dates should use the format shown above to be properly recognized. However, if the date is in the current calendar year, you can simply put the month and day, for example, an upcoming deadline for April 15th. Just enter 04/15, and the date populates perfectly. It's only when you're inputting a different year that you need to include the year first, then month, then day. Lastly, assign an owner or delegate, and keep your status up to date. You'll see overdue deadlines will be highlighted for review. There are a few more advanced tips I'll share at the end of the video, but let's move on to the dashboard. This tab is a great reference with lots of color coding and is organized into 3 sections. The first section organizes top tasks in the weeks ahead. It's got a list of this week's top 10 priorities, and the same with next week and 2 weeks from now, all ranked by priority and color-coded by project. The next section highlights the next 10 deadlines for any owner or delegate. Let's say you're meeting with store planning. Simply select them from the list and it'll show the next 10 deadlines and current status from them. Great for team updates and one-on-one meetings to get ahead of deadlines. The last section is a recap by workstream, and this simply reorganizes everything from the task list. By default, it shows by priority. Or with a click of a button, you can change the order to look at the list by due date or to group by main task. The dashboard is a really easy way to, at a glance, see what's happening with each of your projects. Now on to the really dynamic part of the spreadsheet, which is the Gantt Chart tab. You have a lot of options for what to visualize here. In this top section, you can choose what projects you want to chart just by clicking Add to Gantt Chart. You can also narrow the chart down to main tasks only and exclude completed tasks if you wish. The chart by default will display from today's date until the maximum date of the projects that you've chosen to chart. Simply enter an override date to change what time frame you'd like to reflect, and whether you want to exclude any start or end dates that fall outside that range. Want to be even more specific? You can also use the filters in the header here to narrow down further. For instance, perhaps you want to chart only for a specific owner or for a specific status. A great feature of this spreadsheet is the flexibility in timescale for charting. You can select what time frame you'd like each column to represent. If you choose days, you can also adjust it to show a workweek view, versus a full 7-day Sunday to Saturday view. Or you can choose by week, by month, or other custom timeframes that align with your corporate fiscal calendar. If you've got a corporate fiscal calendar with your own week numbers, periods, and quarters that you want project updates to align with, no problem. Simply go to the Custom Calendar tab and assign those weeks, periods, quarters, and fiscal years to the dates. The Gantt chart headers will now reflect these custom dates when you select them from the header dropdowns. And that's the Gantt chart in a nutshell. Before I wrap up, let me show you a few more advanced features and tips for the task list. If you want to remove old, outdated tasks, you can simply delete the content in a row, just like I'm doing here, and then use the cleanup button. Click on that, set to ascending, and it will shift everything up and remove all the blank rows. Another common question is, what if I need to add a new task between two main projects in the staggered method, and there's no room? The sheet is protected to avoid adding full rows to prevent dashboard errors. There are a few options here. One solution is to copy and paste existing rows down to create enough space for entering the new task you'd like to slot in. Another option is jotting the new task at the bottom of the list like I did earlier for the contractor estimates. It will still be counted, but if you really want it moved up, simply override the task number to be in between the two tasks where you want it to show up. So in this case, I want it to be just after task 4, so I'll jot in 4.1. Then do the cleanup sort, and there it is. To now get this task to follow the default numbering system, just drag from above or copy and paste from another cell in the column, and it will now follow the normal numbering system. One last quick tip is adding comments to your tasks. Simply right-click on a cell and select Insert Comment to add additional context or notes to any task. Comments don't affect the dashboard, but can be helpful for adding quick reminders or extra details to your task list. After submitting the comment, you'll see these pop up when you hover over the flagged cells. To delete comments, just right-click and select Delete Comment. And that's a wrap. The Step Ahead Project Management Spreadsheet offers flexibility and simplicity for any projects you're overseeing. I hope you found this walkthrough helpful, and feel free to reach out with questions or ideas in the comments below. Thanks for watching.